We are surrounded by nature and rely on natural processes every day of our lives. From the food on our table to the warmth in our homes, from the air we breathe to the sense of well-being we feel after a walk on the beach. The Yorkshire Marine Nature Partnership is working to understand more about our coastal and marine natural assets and why they're so important to society. The relatively new concept of natural capital is a way of measuring these benefits so that we can highlight their importance and encourage more investment in the services that we receive. The natural capital system has three key components. Natural assets, that's the species and their habitats. Ecosystem services, these are the useful ecological processes and products we get from the natural world. And finally, the goods and benefits, which, through human intervention, we receive from nature.
We get a range of benefits from the natural environment. And so the idea of the natural capital approach is that we try to link the natural environment with the benefits that contribute to our well-being.
Natural processes are broadly grouped into four categories: provisioning, food and water; regulating, air quality and flood reduction; supporting, photosynthesis and nutrient cycling; and cultural, recreation and a sense of place. These processes are known as ecosystem services.
As an economist, a lot of my activity is associated with monetizing some of these benefits. So fish, for example, we look at the quantity and quality of fish that are caught, and we've got a fairly good idea about the value of fish that are landed.
Marine life on the Yorkshire coast also provides a vital role in maintaining the health of our climate and ecosystems, as Bex Lynham from the Yorkshire Wildlife Trust explains.
When we talk about blue carbon, what we're talking about is marine habitats that are able to store carbon. So we're talking about things like seagrass and salt marsh, as well as habitats that you don't see. They're under the sea, on the seabed, so things like sand and mud. So those things store carbon in the same way that habitats on land, like peatlands and woodlands, store carbon for us. So they provide a really important service to us. And some of those habitats are actually sequestering it as well, so they're taking carbon in.
On land, it's relatively easy to see and study the natural processes that we rely on every day. In the marine environment, though, it's more difficult. Many services are hard to measure simply because they're difficult for scientists to access and analyse. Based at Bridlington Harbour, the Holderness Fishing Industry Group supports the local fishing industry with campaigning and research to improve sustainability.
We built this lab 2 years ago, and this is primarily for research, and it's research that comes from industry. So any of the ideas that our membership have, or indeed the landing associations, any other fishermen, we try and put that into practice. It's not just us, it's 25 other boats that have a reach as far as 50, 60 miles off. So we do get a big picture built up of the fishery. We try and broaden our data set every year, which builds up the picture of the fishery. Gathering data from the far reaches of the east on the crab ground is difficult, but if we can give our main commercial catches a little bit of rest by moving on to another species, fantastic. You know, that's what we all want. We want to see it thrive. It's difficult to put a value on the ecosystem. We've all got to do our part and look after it.
To make sure we're considering these important processes in decision making, we need to develop a way to measure their value and what they give to our society.
For things like carbon sequestration, the value of kelp, it's quite prominent as a store of carbon, the same with salt marshes. With kelp beds, then the evidence is very limited because a lot of what's happening takes place under the sea, and for scientists that's very challenging location to collect the evidence base and to analyse. And so we have to find a way of pricing something which isn't marketed as such in a way that might reflect its true value to society.
We also need to think about the cultural and well-being benefits we receive from the marine and coastal environment. Recognising the way our land and seascapes can improve our health and also impact on the cost and delivery of NHS services. Working together with partners from across different sectors helps us to do this.
Green social prescribing is basically connecting people with the outdoors and nature, and we very much want to see that as part of the healthcare offer for individuals. So what we're looking to learn is how green social prescribing can impact on our healthcare systems and move people into the community where there's activities that can support them.
There's quite a lot of research evidence now to show that it's actually about how connected we are to nature. And I think we're incredibly blessed in the Yorkshire and Humber region that we have such a wonderful coastline. I think it allows opportunities for physical activity, so wonderful coastal walks, lots of opportunities for play, rock pooling, playing on the beach, and also the kind of sensory landscape. So one thing is really important is to kind of engage your 5 senses in order to have that connection to nature. And I think there's no better place to do that than the coast. So there's the smells, the sights, the sounds. You really get that kind of immersive experience, which we know is really important to improving mental health and well-being.
The Yorkshire Marine Nature Partnership is bringing together a wide range of organisations to explore and develop the natural capital approach.
I think it is important for decision making in the sense that it allows us to take a more holistic approach, that we are looking at the value of the natural environment to human well-being, to the economy. And so by recognising how we benefit from the environment, then it does allow us to begin to think about trade-offs. If we use the natural environment in one particular way, what will be the consequences for other things? And so I think it has great value in that holistic role.
Despite the challenges of understanding and valuing our coastal and marine environment, it's important to build our knowledge of how it benefits humankind so that we can make the best decisions for our ecosystems locally, regionally, nationally, and for the whole planet.